This is going to be a very trying period. This is something that we haven't had before.
Tropical Storm Florence still dumping heavy rain in the Carolinas. We'll show you the damage so far and what's expected for the next couple of days.
Plus, a shooting in Northport today has one community concerned. Why neighbors and law enforcement say they're not surprised that it happened. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 6.
Hello again. First tonight, continuing coverage of Tropical Storm Florence as it slams the Carolinas.
You're looking live at Wilmington, North Carolina. You can see a park there totally underwater. Meanwhile, the governor of South Carolina has this to say to those who stayed.
We're liable to have bridges that are impassable, roads that are washed out, flash floods, maybe even landslides in the mountains. Do not drive around the barricades. These are the same warnings and urgings we've been doing throughout. Be careful, be smart.
Well, Florence downgraded late this afternoon to a tropical storm, but it still has quite the punch, as you'll see on radar. Here's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob?
That is the story. It's a slow mover and now just drifting to the west at 3. Get a look at the visible satellite imagery. You'll notice at the center right here near Wilmington, and this is from 8 o'clock this morning. It hardly moves, and it has excellent presentation on the outflow in all quadrants. It's still gathering energy from the Atlantic because part of the circulation is still over water, so this is not going to weaken all that much. It is going to continue to bring heavy rainfall right into New Bern. That's where they've had the heaviest rainfall by far. Wilmington has escaped any heavy rain right now, but that's soon to change as this storm is going to rage through tonight and tomorrow in terms of rainfall. The storm surge is lessening too, and we've had reports of record-breaking storm surge in some of the rivers into eastern north portions of North Carolina above what Matthew did, as well as Hazel back in the 50s. Top winds now down below hurricane status at 70. It's been around for over 13 days as a named storm. That's comparable to Irma last year. Now, as far as the forecast goes, this is tomorrow morning at 2 o'clock, so it drifts to the west. It still pulls that moisture right on into North Carolina. And then by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, still close enough to bring moisture and heavy rains into the eastern portion of North Carolina. Then everything kind of shifts as far as that heavy rain goes into western portions of North Carolina and South Carolina. So there you have it. It eventually gets picked up by Sunday late and carried off to the north and northeast. You can see the radar imagery continuing to show these lines of showers and storms with these feeder bands moving over the same area repeatedly, and then more developing even to the south thereof, and that will continue to be the case through tonight. So big going on as far as that goes. Heavy rainfall in these areas up to 16 to 17 inches estimated already. And as I mentioned, more rain is lined up, continuing to move right on shore there into that area. In fact, 15.6 inches of rain near Newport recorded. That was at 2 o'clock. And you can see the rainfall estimates. That's the bullseye right there. And another one just south of Wilmington near Oak Island has had the heaviest rainfall by far. For us, we've got some storms, most of it inland now, pushing away. So things are looking good for Friday Fest in the Van Wezel, as well as area high school football action in western portions of Manatee and Sarasota County. You can see some heavy rain near Arcadia, as well as into near Mayaca City. Well, here's the next one we'll have to keep an eye on. It went down to a tropical depression this morning, kind of faded away. Models were suggesting that. And guess what? It's now back up to a tropical storm. Tropical Storm Isaac. We'll have the latest forecast path and track of it and what we can expect coming up a little bit later. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. We'll have more on Tropical Storm Florence in just a few moments. But first, another top story we're covering for you today. Police are getting very familiar with a Northport neighborhood after responding to that same area several times in the past week. Today, a neighbor dispute turned deadly. As ABC 7's Erica Jackson shows us, the man killed in today's shooting was known to cause trouble in that area.
Neighbors say the problem started last week when they heard gunshots last Friday and found 25 bullet holes on this home and shed.
It's been scary. I know it's upset a lot of the neighbors.
Although a man was killed on Erie Court Friday morning, Rick Dickman says a weight has been lifted off his shoulders. He lives down the road from Carl Berryman, a disabled veteran who died as the result of a neighbor dispute. Northport police say Berryman and his neighbor weren't exactly the best of friends.
They had prior history of involvement in incidences, but as far as leading up to acts of aggression on each other, that's unknown at this time.
But we spoke with Berryman's brother, Scott, who who says he used to get along with the shooter and usually sticks to himself.
I don't know what precipitated this other than to say my brother did something here in the neighborhood that he was in trouble for.
According to documents provided by Northport Police, the problems between Berryman and the shooter started last Friday. He was accused of firing a weapon at his neighbor's home and shed and was arrested in the last week on gun-related charges.
But sometimes when people take certain acts to a certain level, which are felony-related, officers have to act on the criminal aspect of that.
Police say they previously collected Berryman's weapons under the Baker Act. It's still unclear if he had a weapon Friday morning. Although Dickman says he was afraid of Berryman, he believes the situation could have had a better ending.
Yeah, I just wish someone would have gotten him help.
Berryman was released on bond following both arrests. No charges have been filed against the shooter in the neighbor dispute, but it's still unclear if this incident could fall under Florida's Stand Your Ground law. Reporting in Northport, Erica Jackson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Erica, thank you. Holmes Beach police are looking for this man and the driver of that car tonight. They say the suspects entered a gated area at La Pensie's Plumbing and took copper, scrap metal, and pallets worth about $500. The truck is two-toned and was driven by a female. Holmes Beach police say there is no probable cause for arrest.
A former Lakewood Ranch politician who admitted to lying about having a college degree is now on probation. Melissa Howard signing a deferred prosecution agreement today. State Attorney's Office says Howard is required to perform 25 hours of community service over the next 2 months and pay a fine. Howard lied about having a degree from Miami University of Ohio while running for a state House seat. After university officials said that degree was fake, Howard dropped out of the race.
Sarasota County deputies are looking into what they're calling a suspicious incident after a young girl reported a man tried to lure her into his truck. It all happened on Thursday afternoon at the corner of Roosevelt Drive and Harrison Road in Venice. According to a police report, the girl says she was walking home from school when a man in a white truck pulled up and then offered her to give her a ride home. The girl ran away to a nearby friend's house and asked for help. She told deputies the man was in his 30s and had no facial hair. The sheriff's office is on alert and the community watch has been informed to be on the lookout.
New at 6, 3 local charter schools are now facing penalties by the state. According to an audit report from the 2017 school year, Manatee School of the Arts and Sciences was found to have material weakness in its financial record keeping, while the Student Leadership Academy in Venice and Rowlett Academy of Arts in Bradenton were both in non-compliance with government auditing standards. Most of those charter schools have reportedly made changes to fix the issues. In all, 629 audits done on charter schools throughout the state found 14% of them had problems with their financial record keeping. Still to come tonight in your Suncoast News, continuing coverage of Tropical Storm Florence and its devastating impact on the Carolinas.
And a new addiction recovery center coming to Bradenton. Why those who live in that neighborhood are not happy about it.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Why should your choices be ordinary? Ghibli, the absolute opposite of ordinary.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Our overall experience working with California Closets was phenomenal.
Calm, reassuring.
Through happenstance, we ended up paired with our designer, Jen. She was someone who not only was patient, someone who was professional. She's become extended family.
She had great insight to help direct me towards those things that could make our dreams come true.
We are the Greens, and this is our California Closet story.
We have continuing coverage tonight of the damage in the Carolinas by Tropical Storm Florence. Florence now that tropical storm, but it will continue to threaten North and South Carolina with high winds and catastrophic freshwater flooding.
That's right, Scott. We're getting fresh video into our newsroom every minute of that damage that Florence has left behind and is still causing. You're looking at one of the many gas stations completely damaged by that storm. And take a look at this other one that toppled over last night in Topsail Beach, North Carolina.
And a North Carolina TV station had to evacuate in the middle of this hurricane. While it was still a hurricane, coverage as floodwaters surrounded the building. Employees at New Bern's WCTI TV had to abandon the building for the first time in its history last night. We were following their coverage, and their meteorologists were some of the last to leave there.
And you know, some of these places are places that I used to live in, to just see the devastation and that water rising. And you know, that tends to happen in that area because it is kind of low lying, and with significant rainfall, those rivers can really come up and cause some damage.
Speaking of that, as I said, I've been following the Wilmington Weather Service on their chat room, and one river in particular, I can't remember the name right now, but it's expected to be 20 feet above flood stage by Tuesday of next year. 20 feet! I mean, can you believe that? On top of that, they've already had near 17 inches of rainfall near New Bern, and more on the way. You could see double that before it's all said and done because the system is moving so slowly. Different contrast to our weather. Obviously, Van Way's webcam showing pretty nice day today. We've had some clouds around, occasionally inland storms, but things are looking pretty good now for Friday Fest, and not pretty good, not that good at all for red tide. In fact, in Sarasota County, the counts have gone up over the past 5 days. Some 25% or greater as far as the concentrations go. It is sporadic, it's not everywhere, but in Manatee County has gone down a little bit. There are high concentrations still showing up, and not everywhere obviously, but still a problem there with high concentrations, meaning over 1 million cells per liter. So that's the red tide report. You can look more on our website at mysuncoast.com to get the full report. Full report on it is that it continues to draw moisture, even though the center of circulation is over land now. It made landfall earlier this morning right around sunrise. The heavy rains continue to move on into areas near New Bern, and that is going to be a possibility for tomorrow too. Not going to move much. It's going to stay over the same area. For us, not much rainfall around. Drier air has moved in, and it looks to be a pretty good weekend, although we'll see that west and northwest wind, which has a tendency to bring some of the harmful impacts of red tide toward the beaches. Now, showers and storms winding down into East Sarasota, increasing into Hardee and DeSoto counties there. All that should stay off to the east. Well, obviously the big story, Florence. We also have some very heavy rainfall moving into South Texas tonight with a tropical disturbance there. It doesn't have much of a chance of developing. This one is one we have to watch. Now, we were writing this one off earlier this morning. It was downgraded to a tropical depression. And we've learned, one thing we've learned from Florence is that intensity forecasting, not all that great, in fact. And so, although they downgraded it, they found just recently winds to be tropical storm force again. So they upgraded it to tropical storm Isaac as it makes its way to the west. Now, conditions are not favorable for development in about 12 hours from now. So most of the models agree that it may stay strong and then eventually dissipate in about 3 days. Well, rainfall estimates have been impressive, as I mentioned, in areas across North Carolina, pretty much living up to what they had expected as far as the forecast models go, specifically just near Jacksonville and to the south of Wilmington as where the heaviest rain has been. These areas that you see in gray, those are all 15 to 17 inches right now near Harlow. Newport, not as much, but just to the north. In Havelock, they had up to 17 inches of rain. As I mentioned, more on the way. This is a recent forecast from the European forecast model, still showing an additional maybe 15 to 20 inches over the area that's already been hit by a foot of rain. Well, in Isaac's case, as I mentioned, it's starting to get a little bit better organized earlier this afternoon and then starting to fall apart again. So back and forth we go with it. It's expected to move off to the west. Right now, top winds are at 40. It's moving to the west at 14. In 3 days from now, they expect it to dissipate, but we'll see how that goes. And then a lot of the models take it off toward Cuba and then Florida, while others take it off into the western portion of the Gulf of Mexico. So still a lot can happen with this. One thing, if it does follow that path toward Cuba and Florida, it wouldn't be a big system if it were to develop. But one thing it will do, it will bring us an increase in moisture availability, and that will give us a much better chance for some more widespread showers and storms to move on in. Looks like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. Currently, it's 87. It's warm. Feels like 99 out there. Winds are out of the west at 10. And the high today was right at the average of 88 degrees, pretty close to it. The low was right at it at 84. Well, high pressure is eventually going to start picking up to the east of this system, which will force it off to the west, northwest, then north, then to the northeast on into Monday and Tuesday. As a trough of low pressure comes down and kind of forces that high pressure off to the east, it will turn that system and move it a little faster, but it's not going to move for at least the next 48 hours. It's going to drift off to the west, really. Highs tomorrow will be hot in St. Louis, in Minneapolis, and Kansas City. But the cooler air is kind of poised over the northern Rockies and the northern Plain states. For boaters tomorrow, winds will be out of the west basically at 10 knots. Seas will be running 2 feet or less, and a light chop in the bays and inland waters. The forecast for the next 7 days then, just a slight chance for an isolated shower or two, mainly in the afternoon inland, and then we get better chances as that tropical moisture starts to move in. This is the day that we may see some of that moisture from Isaac moving in on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, if indeed it does move more toward Cuba and then eventually toward Florida later in the period. But the weekend, looking pretty good, really. Only a 20% chance for a passing shower here or there. Temperatures will be close to seasonal averages right on through it. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Well, Florence, as Bob mentioned, no longer a hurricane, now a tropical storm. But here's what we know so far. 4 people have been confirmed dead, including a newborn. More than 700,000 people are without power, and several hundred people have had to be rescued so far. President Donald Trump is preparing to travel to areas affected by Tropical Storm Florence next week. We'll be covering this storm nonstop on all of our platforms. You can download our First Alert weather app for the latest updates. All you have to do is search My Suncoast WWSB in the App Store. In other news tonight, a new addiction treatment treatment center will soon be coming to Bradenton. After a public hearing this week, the Bradenton City Council decided to allow that facility in a 3-2 vote.
But is it the best thing for the community? ABC 7's Taylor Torregano spoke to neighbors and experts in the addiction recovery field. She's live tonight at the facility on 5th Street West in Bradenton with their opinions on the news site. Taylor?
Good evening, Jacqueline Scott. This new Addictions Recovery Center was a controversial vote for the council because it's less than half a mile away from Lecom Park. Still, supporters say regardless of where it's built, the Suncoast needs this facility. This notice of a public hearing signaled a new use for the vacant building near Lecom. Wednesday, in a 3-2 vote, the Bradenton City Council approved a new addictions treatment center here.
If there's new programs coming in place that have built-in funding sources, awesome, that's great. But I know many of us are grappling with the issue of inadequate funding overall, especially on the residential care side.
PJ Brooks is the Vice President of Outpatient and Youth Services for First Step in Sarasota. He says the Department of Corrections just reduced funding for residential treatment beds by 40%.
Remember, Florida's 50th out of 50 states in funding for behavioral health needs.
The good news is the new owner of the facility says he intends to offer all of these services with his own private funds. Dr. Syed Zaidi was unavailable for an interview today, but says he was motivated to open the facility here after hearing the need for it in the area. He says he will offer 60 residential beds for those in recovery.
We don't have enough of those facilities. We don't have enough attention to the need for their therapy. The patient stays in that facility and gets their treatment.
But from the perspective of someone who lives near the Cumming facility, this could go one of two ways.
I see the good and the bad. It can help them as well as help the community, but then again, it can hurt the community.
Bringing a lost crowd to the new home on 5th Street with great intentions of a better future.
We'll just have to see.
Now, the owner tells me he's been trying to come to this area for well over a year now. But why a recovery center? Dr. Zaidi says he was moved to fund a facility like this after his own son was kicked out of medical school because of an addiction to drugs. I'm reporting live on 5th Street West in Bradenton. Taylor Torgano, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Taylor, thank you. An update now on a story we've been covering for you all week. Sarasota County health officials lifting the no swim advisories for 2 area beaches. Those advisories had been in place for the Venice Pier Beach and North Jetty Beach. Health officials say new test results show it is safe again to swim in those areas.
When we come back, we're going to show you how emergency response teams here on the Suncoast are helping out in the Carolinas.
Tonight, state of emergency. Hurricane Florence strikes. Historic rainfall, life-threatening storm surge, power outages. The full impact of this monster storm. We're there. World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.
If you don't want to fall immediately into love, look away. If you don't want to awaken a desire for excellence, look away. If you don't want to be seduced, please look away.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
Attention. On January 1st, 2018, the United States Tax Cut Act officially became law. This law also changes Obamacare. If you are uninsured or struggling to afford your current health insurance, there is now immediate relief. Health insurance that's not high-priced Obamacare is now available. Call the Health Insurance Helpline now. It's free. The cost for health insurance has been a serious problem in America, but now the law has changed. So many people don't get the insurance they need because they just don't call. Don't spend money you don't have to spend. Call now. It's free. If you are uninsured or unable to pay for ACA coverage, call the Health Insurance Helpline now. Get what you deserve. Call to see if you qualify for health care or dental coverage that starts immediately. Don't delay. Call now. It's free. Call 800-307-8167. 800-307-8167. Call 800-307-8167 now.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
During the past 10 years, Tidewell Hospice volunteers have provided more than 1 million hours of service. They sit with patients, giving caregivers a break. They work in offices. They take their furry friends on pet therapy visits. They even clown around. Every task performed by a volunteer makes a difference in the lives of our patients and their families. Join Tidewell's volunteer team. They're truly one in a million. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Cancer doesn't run in my family. That really was the farthest thing from my mind. I've been an athlete my whole life and I work in sports, so my mindset was just, let's fight. So our stories are all unique, so whatever you're going through, ask questions, get information and be involved. Don't ignore the signs, join the fight. I'm Tony Beasley and I'm a stage 2 colorectal cancer survivor.
Selfless service is the guiding principle of every Army National Guard soldier. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. To be an Army National Guard soldier is to serve something greater than yourself. Learn more at NationalGuard.com.
Crews on the Sun Coast continue to head to the Carolinas to help. Tropical Storm Florence team members from Lee and Sarasota County sent us these photos of their crews headed to the East Coast. Florida has also deployed 5 ambulance response teams to help assist with the cleanup. Utility crews and volunteer teams from the Salvation Army and American Red Cross have also arrived to help those first responders there, and they're really going to need all the help that they can get, especially once this floodwater starts to recede a little.
And that's a key point, is that they're not going to be able to help for a while. At least a day. So they're staging outside of that bad area because they don't want to risk their lives, obviously, and because they could be helping lives down in the future, obviously. So they got to clean trees off the, look out for the rivers and flooding and rescuing is going to be going on, and that's going to be happening, I think, through the next several days.
Yeah. Well, more on the storm coming up on World News Tonight with David Muir. Hope to see you later tonight.
Have a good night. We'll see you again at 7 and 11.
My California Closets experience has been wonderful. My mother's a huge inspiration. Before she passed away, she would say, you should do something special for yourself. First time I saw my closet, I immediately thought, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself. I call it my Tiffany style closet. I mean, I can shop in my own closet every day. I love that. My name is Cynthia, and this is my California Closets story.
I heard about the Dotole Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotole Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dotole Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Forester is an IIHS top safety pick for 12 years running. And right now, you can lease a new Subaru Forester for just $229 a month, or get 0% financing with 0 down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TruStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
There's nothing like this trail in Alabama. It just goes from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. We see all kind of different terrains, great value, great fun. We've been coming for 18 years. We started off with a group of 8, grew to 12, and grew to 16. And we love it because where else can you get world-class golf courses with world-class accommodations? To be able to play these type of courses in this environment, and the difficulty keeps us coming back over and over and over again.
Gettle's got what you're looking for at Gettle.com. 17 new car brands, over 1,000 used vehicles, prices and payments you can afford. Credit help if you need it, and they pay cash for your old car. Plus, Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Need service? Gettle's got that too. Gettle's got it. Visit Gettle.com.